Team culture is the invisible operating system of your organization. When it's healthy, it powers peak performance. When it breaks, your entire system fails. Ignoring culture is expensive. Research indicates a toxic environment is 10 times more likely to drive attrition than compensation issues alone. Beyond turnover, a broken culture leads to chronic absenteeism and a measurable 36% drop in overall team productivity. Sign number 1, the silence of the lambs. This is the absence of psychological safety, the belief that you can speak up without fear. In healthy teams, dissent is a sign of engagement. In broken ones, polite silence is a defensive mechanism to avoid humiliation. If it's been months since anyone challenged a leader's thinking or shared an uncomfortable truth, your culture is operating out of fear. Sign 2, high turnover of top performers. Talented people have the most options and the lowest tolerance for corporate dysfunction. 1 in 5 workers has left a job specifically because of culture. If your exit interviews hide the truth, you're losing your competitive edge. When your A players leave for lateral moves, they aren't chasing a new role, they are fleeing the environment you've created. Sign 3, proximity bias. In a hybrid world, a broken culture manifests as a divide between in-office and remote team members. If remote members only hear about critical decisions after the fact, trust gaps form quickly, leading to isolation and disengagement. Managers who focus on visibility over results create an exclusionary atmosphere that punishes those not physically present in the room. Sign 4, excessive gossip and office cliques. When formal communication fails, the horizontal grapevine takes over the organization. Broken cultures encourage subgroups to withhold information as a form of power, forcing everyone else to guess what's happening. This behavior usually stems from a lack of transparency at the top. If you don't communicate, your team will invent their own narratives. Sign 5, pervasive micromanagement. This is the ultimate symptom of a low-trust environment, where leaders control inputs, not outcomes. When a leader steps in to critique every minor choice, innovation dies. Employees become afraid to take risks, knowing they'll be overridden. A culture of control produces compliance, not creativity. Without autonomy, your team's growth and motivation will eventually hit a hard ceiling. Sign 6, the blame game. In a broken culture, failures aren't treated as learning opportunities. They trigger a hunt for a scapegoat. Finger-pointing leads to a defensive, cover-your-back mentality. People spend more energy protecting themselves than fixing the actual problem. Strategic execution suffers when people are afraid to take initiative. This creates what experts call the avoidance of accountability. Sign 7, weaponized communication. This is when digital collaboration tools are turned into tools of conflict and surveillance. Passive-aggressive emails, CCing managers on minor disputes, or public sarcasm are clear signals of a team in deep distress. When direct conversation is replaced by passive-aggressive digital cues, trust is effectively destroyed across the entire organization. Sign 8, chronic burnout. This is a culture that treats overwork as a badge of honor while ignoring the actual results. When engagement dies, quiet quitting takes over. Employees do the bare minimum to survive an unsustainable and unappreciative workload. Overwork isn't a strategy, it's a symptom. If your team is perpetually exhausted, your culture is fundamentally broken and unsustainable. Sign 9, veneer values. These are core values that exist on the lobby wall, but are ignored in every daily operation. When leadership decisions directly contradict stated values, trust erodes. You can't claim transparency while operating behind closed doors. If your team can't define their purpose, they aren't working for a mission. They're just working for a paycheck in a void of meaning. Finally, sign 10, low energy and minimal joy. A team that never laughs together is a team operating in survival mode. In healthy environments, spontaneous celebration occurs. If your days are only problem solving, your team's emotional tank is empty. Laughter isn't just nice to have. It's a critical metric of psychological safety and a high-trust, high-performance culture. Recognizing these signs is painful, but it's the first step toward moving from a reactive culture to a generative one. Start by prioritizing trust, increasing transparency, and building a space where every team member feels safe to speak their truth. A broken culture can be fixed, but it requires intentional leadership. Start your transformation today. Your team is waiting for you.